talking about mental health in space, and there is so much happening in the world today. Many of us left without the physical support system that we typically have access to. It makes this even more of a challenge. And so I am so passionate about our interconnectedness of space, and on this subject of struggle and of mental health. Whether there's a disorder or not, if you are struggling, there is unease, there's unrest. It doesn't need to be a disease. If you or someone you love is not at ease, there's discomfort. Maybe it goes deeper and it's not feeling safe. Maybe it goes deeper and it's feeling truly unsafe. Maybe what is happening in the world at large right now is a re-traumatization for someone who has been through certain traumas in life. What we're seeing and recognizing is that it's not even stemming from a same or like trauma, but just the relativity in our brains of trauma is being stimulated again with all that is happening. And my passion around space and the opportunity that it provides us to create change in our psyche, to create change in our behaviors, to create change in our well-being is ever present. There have been studies going on for years, since 2015, specifically with the Wellbeing standard that improves humans' well-being in our built environment. It primarily focuses on commercial buildings and multifamily units and more complex structures at large. But what 2020 has brought to the surface is how important our personal spaces, our homes are also in relation to this subject of humanity and our well-being together as we coexist. And that includes all of the spaces that we coexist in: our homes, our workplaces, our bedrooms, our closets. Yes, many people today are operating from their closets, so to speak. Or we've turned to our closets for the safe space before we come out to play, before we come out to share, before we come out to grow. And often growth hurts. Often there are growing pains, as in our physical experience as we transform in space. In my own experience and in this transformation of space, of being in a physical environment and in buildings and showrooms and other people's homes, to do my past work as an interior designer, as an architectural estimator, as a sales manager, as a jewelry designer, in wonderful events in the outdoors, street sales, event centers, art galleries, all of these places that we could connect and grow and share. And now this new growth for me personally, coming to share online in this digital space, and the navigation it has been for me to get here to share this with you today. And yes, I do attribute it to my space in part. I'm not saying this is the answer for the heal-all. This is not a Band-Aid solution, looking at your space. This is not a prescription to heal, looking at your space. Maybe it is. Feng Shui itself is considered the eighth arm of traditional Chinese medicine. And often it's in looking at that eighth arm as the last resort, what's the next thing we can do? We've done the Qigong, we've done the acupuncture, we've done the herbs, there are so many things that we can do that create the whole. There's a lot that plays into our life. It's not just one thing. I often use the example of a belt holding up your pants. People think about, ask about Feng Shui and what it does. And well, I can't say that it does any one thing at all. And I definitely can't say that it's the cure-all. But I can say that it's an enhancement, similar to when one needs a belt. Sure, you can wear the pants without the belt just fine. But it's a lot more comfortable with the belt. They stay on better. It's a better experience. It's a more comfortable experience. And I think of that just as a wonderful metaphor in general for space and how it can enhance our experience in this lifetime in whatever it is that we're doing, whether it is we're working or we're conversing or we're educating. We can really utilize this three-dimensional environment that is our container in order to have a better experience. This is what it's about. This is why so many of us are seeking peace and harmony. Not necessarily a way out of what's right here, right now, but a way through it. Many of us aren't trying to just escape, but we're navigating on how best we can meander this space with grace, with comfort, with more ease. And so if there is suffering and struggle and disease in you or anyone that you might know, look around the space and think about what it is that they're experiencing. If it's real anger and hate and rage, that's a lot of fire energy. We want to tone that down with some water, bring in some cooler elements, some softer elements. Are there spiky or sharp things around in the textures and the textiles and the shapes? Are there a lot of pointed, jagged edges? We want to remove those and soften the edges. We want to uplift the color scheme and make it softer, more palpable. But yet if somebody is really down and really struggling in sadness and in grief and more reserved and contained, then we want to lift them up and ignite the space and get some more fiery elements in there and some flowers that are opening. An opening flower is the greatest height of yang and the fire element. Flowers can help, live flowers. If they need to be fake flowers, there's a sweetness there, there's a tenderness that a flower represents. And the brighter colors, they are uplifting, they are igniting and motivating. And often that uplift is what someone who is down needs. And if there's too much anxiety and it's just this running of the mill, maybe not the anger, but it's anxiety and just a lot of busy being and spinning and just needing some grounding, then we want to look to more earth elements and the neutrals and the pale yellows and the beige and the sage greens, the real gentle tones. And the same in the textures and the textiles. Get some cotton blankets, get some fuzzy pillows, get some ambient soft lighting. If you have to have fluorescent lights around you, if that's all you have, get some tacks and put a scarf or a tapestry up over that light. And it diffuses it, it shifts it, and it shifts the energy out there that can shift the energy in here. Play around with it. DM me if you have any questions, if you are going through examples and want to share a photo. I'm going to be talking a lot more about these shifts, these enhancements in the Facebook group, Renewal to Healthy Living Design. I know it's a long one, we're going to maybe shorten that soon, but right now you can find it at Renewal to Healthy Living Design. And I invite you to share what you're experiencing and know that you're not the only one. This office here used to be bright yellow. If you've been following me or a friend of mine, you remember the Sunshine Studio space. I was making jewelry and it's really bright and uplifting because it had been sage green before that, and I was feeling like I was flatlining and I needed my fire back. And I am a fire element, and so when COVID happened, I had had the Sunshine Studio space for about 2 years, and I knew where we were going with these outside energies. And I'm an HSP. I wouldn't be able to do what I do if I wasn't a highly sensitive person. And so I can take in external energies very deeply, and if I don't have my tools in place, it's hard to shield them off without absorbing too much. And I knew that was coming. And last August of 2020, I repainted my entire house. I had shifted the Sunshine Studio to the Twilight Studio a few months before that, to this lovely, Sweet Juliet was the color, this pale lavender bubble that I've been sitting in for the last year and a half, and I just really love it. And then most recently, a room opened up in my house that I've lived in for 9 years, and I was able to paint this room, and I chose Indian Sunset. If you follow me on Instagram, you've seen my Indian Sunset room. And I just love sitting in there so much because all of the other rooms in my house had turned to shades of blue. The main living space is sky blue. It's really bright, pale sky blue. My kitchen is a really deep ice cave teal. My bedroom is a peaceful blue. And my bathroom has always been a blue-gray scheme, very neutral, with additions of funny ducks and flowers, because I think that funny elements and flowers belong in bathrooms. Side note. But going back, my entire space had shifted into these real sensual, cozy, calm yin colors. And so when this space, new space that I could take over, opened up in my house, I needed some warmth back again. And it's my love bubble. It is a little pink, I love sitting in there, and I get that feeling, that motivation and that inspiration. It's just a different type of space. And so while some of these things take investments, I encourage you to use what you have on hand and look at fabrics. If you are able to paint your space, typically you can get a gallon of paint to cover one room for around $25. And if you have a cheaper place, I do recommend no VOC, at least low VOC, and that's the volatile organic compounds, and trying to keep toxins out of our space, because especially our indoor air quality is the most important thing, and the cleanliness of our surfaces. In our living environment right now, for greater resilience and to ward off anything negative that may come our way, viral, bacteria, or related. So thank you if you're still listening to this, for your presence all the way through this subject so near and dear to my heart. As I've experienced it. I've experienced all of these emotions in the spectrum. And I also have experienced recovery and greater comfort, greater ease, overall greater well-being in my life, in my body, and in my home. And I wish to extend this to you. May you and yours be well. Take care.